Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Peace Talks. This is a series where we catch up with the bands and artists that are coming to play for us at the Marr in Worcester. And today I'm joined by Jon Speedy. Thanks, Jon, for joining us today. Hi.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
And Jon is bringing a fantastic British jazz funk band up the Boom Yeh on Thursday. That's Thursday, the 10th of April. And they'll be coming to the Marr playing Worcester for the first time. So yeah, really excited about this actually. So just to give a little bit of background to our viewers. So Jon, I think it was summer last year around June time because it was before your album release. The third album, will come on to that. You contacted me, and I'd not heard of the band before, but then. I think since that email, because the album had come out, it sort of started popping up, and I had a listen when you sent the stuff through, and it was great. It's perfect for our program. But and the album came out in October, I think, when it Near Earth Objects, which is your third album, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got back in touch because I think you were looking for dates around then, and the autumn program was already booked. I mean, that's the great thing for me anyway. It's really, I've got a book, the program's booked out, but there's so many bands that I want to get on. And then you got back in October looking for some May, June dates, and we couldn't fit that in either. But we got lucky, I suppose, because we got a cancellation. So you were top of the list. I mailed 3 bands out on the day that I got the cancellation, and was delighted that you were able to come in because it's you're a band that I've been wanting to try and get in since we heard from you last summer. So things take time, but thanks for the persistence and the patience.
All good. I'm looking forward to Thursday. So
Yeah,
yeah.
cool. So like I say, I didn't really know much about that. I'd not heard of the band beforehand, but like I say, it's sort of been popping up on the radar over the last sort of 12 months now, quite a bit of a buzz. So tell us kind of how did it come together?
Well, it kind of started in about 2010. I've always been writing music, and around that time, I was kind of playing in quite a few different projects, kind of jazz funky, and some of the kind of West African projects. And I just decided to kind of get together with a group of musicians and try these tunes out. And it originally started off as the Jon Speedy Band. I don't know if you know this, but
Oh,
we released an EP in kind of 2011, and we were like, this kind of works. So the next year we decided to change the name of the project, and then began as the Boom Yeh in about 2012 and released the debut album the following year. So
right.
it started off as like a casual kind of experiment or a social with friends, musician friends, and it kind of clicked, and it's been going on since then really, and it's been kind of simmering. We've like you mentioned, we've released like 3 albums so far and an EP, and sometimes there's big gaps in between
Yeah.
the albums, and but I mean, that's the way it is. But it's worked, and it's kind of stayed fairly strong for the last 12 years, 13 years really. So yeah, it's really enjoying it actually. Yeah.
Cool. So you put it, yeah, and you're the guitarist in the band,
Yeah.
and sort of pulled the band together. We were chatting just before the interview, and you mentioned you're originally from the West Midlands.
That's right, yeah. I grew up in Nuneaton in Warwickshire. Um, so I had, back in my youth, I had kind of fairly strong connections to Birmingham and Leicester. And
Mhm.
around the age of 18, actually, I played in a jazz funk band in Birmingham for like about 2, 3 years. And it was
Okay.
kind of like an education, really, from older kind of jazz funk musicians. It was like going to college, really, basically.
Cool.
So, and my dad is a jazz musician. He's a trumpet player, and he's also a big band leader. He's still gigging now, but kind of semi-retired. But
Is that around?
That's
Is he based in the West Midlands still? Is he? No.
he's based in he's living in Hinckley at the moment, but
Right.
he was based in Nuneaton, but he's very well connected on the kind of he's from Birmingham
Mhm.
originally, so the kind of West Midlands kind of jazz scene.
Yeah.
A few of the older kind of cats will know who he is. So I think what came in strong was the big band influence from my dad, and because his kind of favorite artists were like Count Basie and Duke Ellington and that kind of thing, and he was also into bands like the Crusaders and all that kind of thing, and
Brilliant.
so.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the kind of lineage I think. I didn't really realize it until a few years ago until somebody pointed it out. And so yeah, and then I ended up kind of going to university and I've been in London now for about 25 years.
Right.
So and kind of eventually pursued the kind of professional career as a musician. And yeah, it's been all good. Yeah.
So the band, as I understand it, is kind of a core because you sometimes go out as a six piece, seven piece. I think for the album you've got sort of percussion and I think there's a trumpet on there as well. Yeah. So just sort of talk us through the band and kind of who's there.
So the main core of the band is myself and the sax player Ian Bailey, who does all the horn arrangements. So that's been the core of the band since the start, even like the inception of the Jon Speedy Band into the Boom Yeh.
Hmm.
And then we've had other members like Paul Silver, who's like a baritone player, but he's also a multi-instrument. He plays keyboards on the album as well, and he's like a producer, engineer as well. So he's been involved for quite a few years. And then our bass player Matteo Grassi, he's been the main bass player for like over 10 years now. And that's the core of the band. We've had a rotation of different drummers. So the drummer we've got playing with us on Thursday, Will, he's been playing on and off with us for about 10 years.
Hmm.
And and on some of the other gigs we have keyboards. There's a guy called Carl Hudson, who's a very busy guy, but an amazing kind of key scientist, as we call him. He's like a mad professor. But he's very into synths and the whole Herbie Hancock kind of
Right.
vibe. And but he started playing with us about 5 or 6 years ago, and he became like a strong element in the latest album. But before that, we were kind of mainly gigging as a six piece or seven piece with percussion, and
Hmm.
now because we've got like a lot of material, we can go out as like a six piece for like Thursday's gig or a seven piece, and so that the sets will be slightly different, but
Hmm.
both very varied in their kind of vibe. So it's yeah, it's exciting really because if people come and see us with a six piece, or they see us maybe with a seven piece the second time around, they'll get something slightly different as well. You know,
Cool.
it's so yeah. Thursday will mainly be. There will be tunes off the new album, but it'll be kind of the breadth of what we've done so far on the kind of three albums.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool.
cool.
So yeah, just looking back on so the first one was Reverberations to Constellations was the first one that was 2013.
That's
Uh,
right.
and then I saw there was a live at the Hideaway was the next one in
That's
2016.
right.
I couldn't. I had to look around online and couldn't find that anywhere. So have you got copies of that on CD anywhere? Will you be bringing some CDs down with you?
Oh, we don't have that on CD. It was just a digital only release.
Okay.
But I think it's only available. I need to check with that, actually. You just reminded me. I think it is available on some streaming platforms. Yeah, I'll have to check with that. On Thursday we'll have vinyl of the latest album and some CDs of the first album.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
So the Live at the Hideaway that was yeah recorded. There used to be a really good venue actually just down the road from where I live in South London called the Hideaway, and it was kind of renowned for putting on like a lot of jazz and funk and soul and all this type of thing. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it kind of went under during
Is
during the
that
pandemic.
Is that where Yolanda Charles was doing her Mummy Yo sessions? That seems to ring a bell connection there. Maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, so that would have been
Poss
around about 2013, something like that.
that's
Maybe
possible,
before,
yeah.
yeah.
It was, it's a shame because, yeah, in London, you kind of get venues on the periphery, and the ones that tend to have survived tend to be more central. And
Mm.
it's one of these that's kind of on the kind of outskirts, like in kind of what they call like zone two, zone three kind of vibe. But we played quite a few gigs there, and we did 2 nights there, and we kind of recorded both nights and just kind of took the best of both nights and put it into an album, really. So I'll see if I can send you the MP3 of that if you want to have a listen, actually.
Yeah, that'd be great. No, I did have a quick look around because I think there's some tracks on that are live in session on Bandcamp that I found, but I don't know
Yeah.
if those are from that recording or what. But yeah, I couldn't find the album. I didn't spend a lot of time digging around, but yeah, something might come up. So yeah, no, it'd be great if you've got if you got a link to it somewhere digitally, if it's on any streaming platforms. I'll share that on social so people can have a
Good.
listen. But no, it's great. We've had a few bands. So I kind of, for people that haven't heard the band, or I'd say it's very much in the sort of vibe of Jamiroquai, sort of brand new heavies type stuff. As you say, there's other influences in there. I was listening to Mishana, is it? There's quite a African. You mentioned some of the West African sort of influences in there. That's we had a fantastic band, Lake and Babalola's Sacred Funk quartet up a couple of weeks ago. That was really good. And it
Nice.
was really interesting as well because they sort of told the story of the sort of West African culture, Yoruba culture, and where that music sort of kind of uh, evolved through other sort of cultures and became what we listen to in lots of different styles today. So yeah, that's all grand. But yeah, I think you mentioned in the on your site and some of the blurb you sent through that some of the band have worked with some of those like Jamiroquai, Brand New Heavies, Incognito.
That's right, yeah, because there's our main trombone player Tom, who's actually not on this gig, but he's played with Jamiroquai. I think he's done Incognito, and he's done quite a lot of big names like the Dave Murray Big Band and things like that.
Mm.
And is it Gareth Loughrane in
Oh
his
right,
big
yeah,
band? Um, so yeah, and Carl, our keys player, has done the brand new heavies, and he's been involved with Strata. I don't know if you know them
oh yeah,
guys.
yeah, with Bluey and yeah, Giles Peterson, yeah. They
And
recently played. They played last week, didn't they? And then they did a gig.
Jeff Cafe, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I'd love
I
to have got
missed
down
it.
for that one. Yeah, it's a bit of a longer trek for me, but I would have loved to have got down for it. I saw they did the. I went down to the when they brought out the second album, which was more the sort of brick funk thing they did. They did a Talk and Tunes, Bluey and Giles at Rough Trade East
Oh,
in
great.
Shoreditch. So I popped down for that. That was great. That was. But yeah, and I spoke to them then about when they were gigging, but they didn't seem too interested in hauling themselves up to Worcester. But there we go. We'll keep at it. We'll keep at it. We'll be big one day, and we'll get there. We'll have track bands like that. But yeah, that's cool. We've had a couple of. I really love that sort of the bigger sort of brass lineups. We've had a few sort of seven. We had Paul Bruce. We had his hoop band that had Nickel Thompson on trombone there.
Oh, amazing player. Yeah.
Currently with a level 42 brass section, isn't he? And then we had Triple, which was a brilliant gig in January that opened up our winter program in January. And so yeah, Trevor Myers and Paul. Ryan couldn't make it for that one, so we had oh god, from Snowboys band, the trumpet player Sid Gould.
Sid Gould, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we've laid the groundwork for brassy funk, jazz funk. So
That's amazing, yeah, because you mentioned Trevor Myers. He's gigged with us. We did a gig in Birmingham about 5 years ago, and he played with us. So it's possible he could end up debbing with us again at some point. But he's a busy man. But
yeah, yeah.
awesome player.
Well, it's in both cases actually. When I've with both hoop and triple, there's yeah, we've had to sort of swap out. I think one of them was a 24 hour 24 hour depth. But
Wow.
yeah, it's all good. And that's the way it goes, isn't it? I mean, you're all fantastic musicians that are especially brass players. You kind of get those gigs pop up, and you got to go where the money is to pay the bills these days. Cool, good stuff. So yeah, we're really looking forward to you coming up to Worcester, playing for the first time in Worcester, which
That's
is
right.
another one to chalk up for Music Spoken here. I always love it when I'm the first to bring a band up. But yeah, it's really picked up this year. It's hopefully it'll be another packed one. It's already looking very popular. I don't do tickets, as you probably know, so we don't get a clear picture of what's happening, but I can usually get a feel from the buzz of how busy it's going to be. So yeah, really looking forward to having you all up on Thursday. So yeah, just to run through the lineup. So it's yourself on guitar, Ian Bailey on sax. We got Matteo Grassi on bass. Will Francis is on drums, and then we got David Sear, a Birmingham guy. So yeah, we've got a lot of followers from the conservatoire. So know Dave, and Thomas Klein on baritone for this one.
That's right. It's just actually his first gig with us, Thomas. I
Cool.
think he's actually visiting family near Birmingham as well, so there's another Birmingham connection there. So, but he lives in London, so
Right.
yeah, the Midlands vibe is strong. So,
Good stuff. Yeah, good stuff. Well, we'll really looking forward to hearing the Boom Yeh on the Mars Bar stage. Thanks for your time, John, today. It's been great chatting, and we'll catch up on Thursday. Take care.
thanks, man. Looking forward to it. Thank you.